Hello my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Do It Scared. I feel like I cannot properly start this series without addressing the fact that starting a YouTube is terrifying. This is something that I really had to just bite the bullet and do, and I've been doing it in incremental steps like we've been talking about. Slowly, I created the YouTube channel, I created the description, I linked my PayPal, all these things I am learning step by step. But to actually go from start of learning to finish of posting is a whole different ballgame, because that's when your finished product is out there for the world. And 3 different types of fears are coming up for me. Number 1 is the fear of being seen. So when you put something out into the world, whether it's your YouTube channel or your homemade cookies, or you're starting a business of Reiki, or whatever it may be for you, you're selling your art, or your whatever. You're doing something that is important to you, that is put into the public eye, and something that is important to you that makes you feel authentic and real and raw and vulnerable is really scary to do, to show everyone, hey, look at me, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, this is what I'm doing now with my time. That leads to fear number 2 of fear of being judged. And I know a lot of people, they get to that fear itself and they stop what they're doing because they don't believe in themselves enough, they don't believe in their calling. And so that fear of being judged is going to prohibit them from continuing on the path that they're on. Any kind of person that might scrutinize what you're doing. For me, I feel afraid of being judged because I know that the past version of me was a little bit of a mess, and I know that version of me exists still in some people's minds. They have not been along this journey with me, and so her is who they know, not me. And doing something like this and opening up and being vulnerable, I'm afraid that people are going to be like, oh, who does Abby think she is, or why is she doing this? And it's really scary to try. It's really scary to try. Honestly, that's it. It's scary to try. It's scary to put yourself out there. And then the third fear is the fear of not being seen. So yes, it's scary to put yourself out there, and it's scary to have people judge you and maybe make comments or send you messages, or you can just feel the vibe and energy that's being sent your way is judgmental. But then there's not being seen, that you do all of these things to push yourself, and you're taking those steps and you're moving into the next phase of your life, and you're putting it out there, and you spend a lot of time and a lot of energy to put out something, and it's crickets. And that's another thing that I know stops a lot of people. They have great business plans, they have great art, they're so creative, and they want to start this new venture, but then that fear of not being seen, people can feel that. I want for my channel to be as real and vulnerable as possible. I know we live in a world where AI has taken over, and there is a time and a place for AI. It's a beautiful addition to our lives to make certain things simple, but I want to be the human in a sea of robots. I don't want to edit my videos aside from, so I don't say so many times in my videos, but I don't want to alter the way that my face looks, or my waist, or the skin. I'm having some issues right now, but I don't want to alter and inauthenticate myself. I don't want to put filters over who I am. This is me, this is how God made me, and I want to show up how God made me because He made me perfect. And I think it's like such a slap in the Creator's face to do something that is not in honor of who I am. And I know that might sound wild to some of you watching, because this is coming from a girl who used to have bleach blonde hair, wear a ton of makeup, had big fake boobs. I learned through my mistakes that that was not who God made me to be, and that's why the implants made me sick. That's why the relationships I was in also made me sick. And I was so far away from who I was meant to be that God gave me no other option but to change. And now I have the opportunity of knowing what it's like to live out of alignment and trying to find myself in a world that really pushes you to be anything but you. I can't remember what the movie is called. It's like something about being pretty. Maybe it's just called Pretty. I don't know. But the movie is about when you turn 16 or 18, you get to have like surgery and become a completely different person. You get to pick your avatar essentially, and you get completely made up to be pretty, because that's the best thing anyone can ever be. And that movie has such a deep message behind it. The world that we live in right now is so hard to be who you are. And I want you to remember that God made you perfect too, in the way that you are, but you have to find who that is, and you have to connect with that person and not feel afraid of being it. Like, let your freak flag fly. I really truly think that that saying that what other people think of me is none of my business, oh my goodness, is so true. Because if I believe in myself and I believe in who God made me to be, and I'm honoring that, and I know with every inch of my being that I am honoring that, there is nothing to fear. Because if you think something of me, that really has nothing to do with me. And whatever you think of me cannot crush, destroy who I think I am. And I will never again take on someone else's opinion of me as my own. I don't need to do that. I love who I am, I love who I'm becoming, and I do love who I've been, because without her I would not be. And I'm trying, like I said, to show up in the way that would honor myself, my human, my soul, and God, because we all, the three of us, are working together for the best life possible for this human that I am. I know that I could not listen to the call. I could ignore it, and that's what a lot of people do, and that's what I've done in the past, so there's no shame if you're doing that. When God calls us to do something, just like on the phone, you can accept or decline, and this is terrifying, to start something online. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea if anyone's even going to watch me besides myself and my mother. But I love you, Mom. I know that there's a reason why I'm doing this, and even if I just touch one heart at a time, I just want to help one person understand their journey a little bit more, understand themselves a little bit more, and realize that it's okay. No, it's not okay. It is necessary to be who God made you to be. And only when you are your authentic self will everything else in your life fall into place. You know, you can't find the love of your life if you are pretending about who you are all the time. You can't find deep, meaningful, quirky, fun, amazing connections with friends if you don't have any idea who you are, because you've always been wearing a mask. And I wrote this poem one time about how I feel like a chameleon, that I'm always changing and I don't even know what color I am anymore. I think a lot of people feel the same way. It's like the people pleasers unite. It's really hard to honor yourself and love yourself in this crazy world that we live in. It's so nice to have the technology that we have, but people are like abusing it and using it for the wrong reasons. There's no reason why you need to make your waist smaller or put a filter of full makeup on before you get on a camera. People make money off pretending to be someone that they are not. And there's so many impressionable people on these apps. Children, young women especially, that are seeing other women afraid to age, afraid to be themselves. I can work on the inside of me more than I ever work on the outside of me. That's the true beauty, because nobody can take that away from me. No age, no man, no negative comment, no lack of people seeing my videos. That's permanent. The inside is what matters the most. So, we're doing things scared. Showing up, answering the call, and not worrying about the outcome. It's not about the outcome, it's about the journey. And I've learned so much. Like I said, I learned about Canva. Canva's really cool. If you don't have it, please download it and play. It's like art for adults. It's so much fun. I learned a lot about CapCut. I'm learning about the laws of YouTube and all kinds of things. I'm watching different creators than I've ever watched before and learning new things about how they edit their videos and how they manage to get their level of success or their version of success. And it's a really cool journey. Nothing that I'm doing is for nothing, you know? Everything that I'm doing is going to be for a purpose and serve a purpose, even though I have no idea what that is. I am on this step and I have no idea what the step 100 steps from now looks like. I don't even know what the next step is, besides actually uploading and posting these. That's the next step. And I feel nervous about that, and I feel scared as we're doing it scared, but I also feel at peace because I know that God wouldn't have called me to do this if there wasn't a reason, and the reason will always be revealed when it's time. So I'm relaxing in the knowing that I am doing a-okay and I am listening, which is imperative. There have been many times in the past where I have been called to do something similar to this and I have shied away because I feel like I create so many stories in my mind with so many limiting beliefs that are trying to trap me into the reality that I'm in instead of allowing me to evolve and expand. That's the trick, is pushing through that discomfort, pushing through all of your programming and all of your limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging behaviors and ancestral patterns, pushing through all of that, your generational curses, my goodness, and coming out the other side as a person you are always meant to be. And I love the evolution that I'm on, the trajectory that I can imagine. I know it's always going to be different than what I picture in my head, but I know that God always has a more beautiful an amazing plan than anything I could possibly imagine with my human brain. When I get scared, that's what I remember, is even though I don't know the outcome is more beautiful than anything I could picture. If you're on a trajectory that you're not sure of, or there's something calling you on the phone, you better flip and answer it because there's a reason for it. Even if you try something and you fail miserably, there is no such thing as failure. Everything always leads to something. You are always learning. You can always apply something. And the amount of people who are like millionaires and billionaires, do you think they never failed? Bologna sandwich, they failed a bunch of times. That's how they got to, I think, appreciate their level of success. And not saying that money is the equivalent of all success. I think everyone's interpretation of success is different, and that's something that you should and will need to do, is define what success is to you. And also have like a game plan. What is your mission for what you're starting? If you're starting a business, what is your goal? Who are you trying to target? Who's going to benefit from what you're doing? If you're going to start a YouTube, who do you want to talk to? Is it a younger version of yourself? Is it families? Who are you trying to target? And believe that your words matter. That's something that I really struggle with, is knowing that my voice has power. Even though I am a very tiny human, my voice and my energy is very big, and I don't need to shrink. I spent a lifetime shrinking, something that also comes up with the fear of being seen is like, what if I start this and I answer that call and I lose faith in myself? What if I can't be who God is calling me to be and I shrink back and then I look silly for starting something that I never completed? And that is a loud voice in my head, but I know that that is just a limiting belief, that is just a program in my mind, that I am small, that I can't do what I am trying to do. I fear a lot about not being the version of myself that I want to be to start this. I don't feel successful. I don't feel like a YouTube girly. I don't have a filming studio. I don't have the most beautiful clothes. I own like 7 outfits. I don't have a laptop to upload this onto. I don't have windows to close, so you're gonna hear dogs barking. I think it's really beautiful that I am starting before I feel ready, because I'm showing to myself that no matter what, I am going to show up. No matter what, I am going to answer the call. So when that thought comes in my head that what if I can't do it anymore? What if I give up on myself? I'm going to remember when you started. Remember when you started and you had nothing. You sat on the floor in your apartment with the white wall behind you. You had no lighting. You had no fancy camera. Well, it's a nice camera, but you don't have any of the things that people tell you must have to start a YouTube, and you did it anyways. So keep going. Everything is going to fall into place when it's meant to. I'm sure one day, if this is what I'm supposed to do and I'm supposed to continue to speak into this little tiny camera, more things that will help me on my journey will become available. I have to remember that God always provides what you need when you need it. And if you are feeling inadequate to start whatever venture that you want to be on, remember that too. That you can start with literally nothing. All you have to do is start. And sometimes it's just starting with an idea, pen on paper, writing it down, figuring out your mission, why you want to do what you do, finding your why, finding your demographic, who you want to target. And sometimes it's not going to go the way that you think it's going to go, because like I said, God always has a different plan for us than we can imagine in our heads, and that's beautiful and divine. And to remember that it doesn't matter if you start at 0, it just matters that you start. If there are people out there who judge you and who don't want to watch your videos or buy your product or support you because you are at 0, there's going to be a bunch of other people that are clapping for you for where you are. So this is where I'm at in my life right now, in my very non-aesthetic dog barky videos. I don't have all the fancy things that I would like to have but don't, and I know that that's okay because it's part of the journey, and one day I'm going to look back at these videos and be really proud of myself for starting. I love this version of me. She is so brave. So never did I think I would come on a YouTube channel and cry. But be proud of yourself too. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of guts and a lot of unknowns and faith to step into something that you are going into blind. And that's really beautiful. Don't worry about the fears that come up, because they will come up. And all that matters is what you do with that fear. I like to sit with mine and remind it that it's allowed to be here. I'm allowed to feel afraid, but I am not allowed to let it take hold and take root in my life. It needs to be felt, processed, and moved through. When it's done, and I can move on and move up. I'm not going to stay at the same place. Stagnancy is death. I want to move forward. I'm wishing you all the success. I'm really happy that I made this video. I'm really happy that I got through it, and I'm really proud of myself and you, because I know you're going to start something amazing, and I know you're going to find the people who appreciate and support you for you in a world of robots. So, good job, human.